Hello everybody, I am JoeHova, you are you, and today we're playing Airport CEO. Now, trying to get the YouTube channel off and running, so I want to play a few games that I have in my Steam library just to see what draws interest, or if anybody's interested at all. So, want to make quality content. If you have any suggestions or comments, please don't hesitate. So we're going to start a new airport right here. And I've played this game in the past, but I haven't played it in a while, so I'm kind of coming in fresh. This picture looks fine. Hair color, a little darker. Skin color, pasty white dude. Eyes, green, fine. Name, JoeHova. And games that make me do a last name, I usually do Almighty. Which, you know, pretty sweet. Okay, now one of the cool things about this game, if you've never played it before, is this map. You get to put your airport anywhere you want to be in the world, but there's no place I'd rather be than Nashville, Tennessee, and that's where I live. So I'm going to click that, confirm my location. Just going to call the airport Nashville, and our actual call letters are B and A. So pick a emblem, not a lot to choose from. That one's fine. And I'm going to start on difficulty, which basically just is how much money you start with. So $500,000, not a bad start. So we'll go ahead and launch. Okay, so here we are. We start in an area. There are 3 locked quadrants, and I start here. So what I want to do is I'm going to start a general aviation airport just to make money. Right now we got $500,000. We're going to have to start making money. So I'm going to grab a small runway, hit R to rotate, and this cost me $100,000 right off the bat. I'm going to throw this guy down right here in the very corner, because I'm going to keep this just for general aviation. GA or general aviation, just little small private planes. They need a place to land, they need a place to get fuel. So that's my goal. That's what I want to do. So to get this started, I'm going to have an entry to this runway. I'm going to do just, you know, the cheapest stuff I can to start with. I need 1 entry and 1 exit, so I'll put 1 up here and 1 over here. And then I need a taxiway in between for aircraft stands. Now, here's the deal. If you don't need it, don't build it. So, eventually, this is going to be 5 wide right here. But I don't need 5 wide, and I really won't need it for a while. So I'm just going to do the central path all the way down, connect these 2 together. Now these planes can get from one side of the runway to the other. And I'm also going to do some aircraft stands. Now this is just where the planes park, get refueled and all those things. So I'll rotate this around. Now again, I'm going to leave these open because I am going to be 5 wide at some point. I'm going to put this down here at the bottom. Now I want to start with at least, I'd say 6 of these. That's 4, 5, and 6. Just so we can make some money. And let's see, where's my foundation again? So I'm going to connect these to this taxiway. Each one of these. Right? And you'll notice that nothing's happening, no construction is happening. That's because you have to hire construction workers. Another cool part of this game is when you go to the operations panel, you can see you have this little construction tab, and you can deploy contractors. Well, I don't have any contracts for a contractor. So if I go to my economy tag and look at my contracts, I'm offered 2 construction contracts. 60 workers for $9.70. 64 for $9.08. So I'm going to go with the cheaper one. Every penny counts. So now I can go to operations, I can go to my contractors, and I can deploy all of them. So we're going to call up the contractors, and they're going to land here. You see I've got a truck that's delivered product. I'm going to hit 3, or this triple arrow, to speed up the time so I can get my contractors dropped off. You see there's a bus full of them. And there they are. They're going to grab these boxes here, and they're going to start building all of this stuff. Now, excuse me. Also going to need a tower, right? Now, when you're starting out, you don't want to spend too much money, so small tower is all I'm going to need here. And I will also need to have fuel, as well as some trucks to refuel and things like that. So to do that, I'm going to have a service road. So what I'll do is I'll come down here to the vehicle checkpoint. If you look at this, you have 2 wrenches on one side and a street on the other. That's because you have service roads, which are internal to the airport, and you have public roads, which are you know, not inside the airport, so they don't have security. So I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to create a public road. It's low quality. Connect it to the road right here. And then my service road on the inside is going to be at the bottom. So I want that right here and right there. So now you'll come through the checkpoint and you're inside of the airport. Now my runway still isn't completed yet, nor my taxiways, but we'll get there in just a second. What I want to do also is get a vehicle depot, and I'll put this guy, make sure you have one entry and exit. Yes, I know. So vehicle depot right here, and I'll connect that with a service road. Gotta have roads on those little wrenches because that's how the trucks get in and out. I also need to have fuel. Now if you come here, you'll notice there's no option for fuel. That's because I have to go into my procurement area, and I have to unlock this fuel service. So I'm going to do that now. Once I do that, I'll be able to get a truck as well. So right now it looks like our runway is good to go. I'm going to come in, and you have to give it a taxiway path. So I'll come from this area to the center of my taxiway, all the way up, and I'll connect these 2 points together. So now the planes can get from one side to the other, and I'm going to attach these little stands, every single one of these stands, to it as well. And now once I've done that, I'm just about ready to go. So what I can do is go to my runway. Sorry, get out of that. Go to my runway. I don't care about commercial flights on this right now, so I'm going to turn that off. And I'm going to open the runway. Okay, runway is now open. But now I got to open these stands. I'm going to open it for general aviation, and I'm going to open each one of these stands individually, so they are prepared to accept flights. But there's one more important thing that I have to do also, which is easily overlooked, and I've done it 1,000 times. You have to go and you have to not only open the airport, but you also have to allow for general aviation right here. If you don't do that, planes aren't going to come. It's as simple as that. So now I've done that. Planes should start coming in shortly. Now they don't really like to fly at night, these general aviation planes, so I'll probably have to wait till the next day, but I got a little bit of work still to do. Now that I have, let's go back in here, I can go to my economy contracts. I still don't have a fuel contract, so if I come back now, I've got this fuel service ready. I can go ahead and order the truck. Now I choose the Maverick truck. It's a little more expensive, but it's also faster, so I'm going to order one truck. And now when I come back in here and I go to my airport, you'll see I have these two tabs here, fuel tank and fuel depot. Now here's an important thing to remember, especially at the beginning of the game. You don't want to just go to this medium-sized fuel depot. It's very large, fuel is very expensive, and it will cost you a fortune. This one by itself is still pretty expensive. So I've got all of my stands ready, I've got my depot, I've got a truck, so now I need fuel, and that's important because I'm going to go into debt here very quickly as soon as I start this fuel depot. So I'll plop that down. My construction workers will get to work on that. They're dropping off the pieces and parts needed for that right here. So that'll get built, and as soon as it does, I will have a fuel truck come in once I can sign a contract. So I'll get up here. We'll go to, economy again. We'll look at our contracts. And as soon as that thing gets built, I'll have a new contract available for me. There you go. See? Nature Fuel. Don't have a lot of choices here. I'm going to be paying $1.51 per liter. Because that's the general aviation fuel. Now, my jet fuel is 0.36 per liter. And they'll deliver 200,000 liters per delivery. So, okay, I'm going to accept that. And now I can go to refueling service and enable that. That's very important. If you don't do that, you're not going to fuel any planes. And here we go. So we're filling up that tank. And, well, I didn't do too bad. There's my truck filling up, so it's ready to go. Got these 6 stands. They're accepting general aviation. They're open, connected to a runway. Looks like we're good to go. I'm going to say this is the exit of the runway, and this is the entrance to the runway. So planes will land here, come off, go in, and then they'll go out this way. That way we don't have any traffic. No planes crisscrossing each other. That's a very important point. And you see my service road leads all the way down the back sides of these as well, so I'll be able to service all these. So let's get to the next morning and see what happens. Okay, so it is 4:20 in the morning. Planes should start to land here fairly soon. Now you can see down on the bottom, passenger satisfaction. I don't have any passengers. Airline satisfaction. Don't have any airlines. But my GA satisfaction is okay. So that's because I'm not really charging them a whole lot of money. But I want to change that because we're here to make money. So first thing you got to do is you come up and you go to your staff. Now you see I don't have any staff here whatsoever. But there's an application button here. And I can go in and I can find all the people that have applied for work at my airport. Now, in order to change prices, you have to have a chief financial officer. So we look for CFO. Now we have 2 of them here. We have Andre and Frederick. And Frederick wants $89 an hour. Andre wants $90. Fairly similar, but they have these traits under them. So you can see their logic, their service skill, how friendly they are, their technical, and then how they handle stress. Now, both of these are pretty much the same. So I'm going to go with the cheaper guy and just hire him. And now you can see my planes have started to come in right there. And I'm getting paid every time they land. So now that I have my CFO, I can come back into my tabs. I can go to my economy, and you can see my budget here. I can go into fees. And when I click this, you can see this is the price that I'm charging people. And that's why these airlines are fairly happy, because it's pretty cheap. But that's about to change. So I'm going to pull this all the way up until it turns red and then go back 1 section. Now a lot of these don't even matter at this point because I don't have passengers or luggage or anything like that. But we'll get there. I like to put it right there at just about the breaking point, but not tip them over, right? The secret to capitalism. Push them as hard as you can without making them break. But if people aren't quitting and they're not mad, you're not working them hard enough. Okay, so there you go. I refuse to charge anyone to use the bathroom. That's a basic human right. So I'm not going to charge you to use the can in my airport, even though I don't have one yet. You can see now that I'm charging these large prices. I'm going to start making some money. So if we go to our economy tab again, and we go to our data sheet, you can see we have this tab here. I can choose hourly, daily, or yearly. Let's just go daily. So my current day, I'm down some cash, mostly because I spent a lot of money on construction. I've spent a lot of money on gas, things like that. So there's another important point, right? If I go back to operations, right now, currently, I'm not building anything, but I'm paying for contractors. So if you came in here and you looked at your economy and your budget, you can see construction right here. I'm paying $581 an hour for contractors that I'm not currently using. So, I mean, if you're doing a lot of construction, you probably want to keep those guys around for a while, but I'm going to start earning some money. So I'm going to go to operations, the contractor, and I want to dismiss all of these guys. For now, I mean, they can come back, right? You just don't need them sitting there chomping up a bunch of your money if you're not using them. So eventually I'm going to call them back because I'm going to stretch all of these general aviation plots all the way up to the end of this runway. So I'll need them at that point, but I don't need them right this second. So I'll let this run for a few hours in game, and I'll try to get some money up, and we'll see how successful this setup is. I mean, right now this is a good starter setup. So we'll see how financially viable it is. Okay, so as you can see, this is a successful setup. In the previous hour, I made $3,000. The last 24 hours, and this is with fuel and construction and everything, I'm up $1,300. So This is positive. I'm going to be making money in this kind of a setup. So what we want to do is we want to push it a little further. Now here's the deal. I've got a fuel truck and I've got 6 of these landing zones. What I want to know is how many of these planes can this one fuel truck handle, because I don't want to get it overloaded. Now I'd have to hire another truck to get more, but I don't want to hire another truck until I need it. So right now you can see this truck goes out every single time a new plane lands. Well, these spots are nearly filled and he's doing a perfectly fine job. Now another thing you got to worry about in this game is maintenance. So if I look at this runway, it's already depleted to 41%. So before I go spending a lot of money here on anything, I'm going to repair this for $3,500. So bam, did that. Now the runway is up and going. Now before I start beautifying and making things look better, which I will, I need to make as much money as I possibly can. So my goal is to stretch these landing zones all the way out here. So that's what I'm going to do now. So let's see how many more of these we can get. But I don't want to, push my plane too far, or my fuel too far. So let's put a few more of these guys here. I can afford quite a few of them. Now remember, I don't have any construction workers at this point, and that's fine. I'll call them back here in a minute. And that's, I want to have this going this way. So that's about all that I'm going to be able to get in this area here. Yeah, see, excuse me. If I would have moved this one up just a little bit, they probably would have fit perfectly inside the runway, but not a huge deal. So now I'm going to have my taxiway, and of course we'll build those out on every single one of these. And then once we have all of our construction, oh crap, that we desire. Now if you hit B, you can bulldoze that. Go back here. Once I have all the construction that I desire to get done, which is this right here, I'll call my contractors back in. So I go back to operations, contractors, let's deploy all of them. Now if you wanted to save money, you could only deploy a number of contractors that you wanted, but you can see now we've called our contractors out. Here they are. They're the supplies they need. They're going to grab those supplies. They're going to come up here and they're going to start building all of these things for us. Okay, so all of these are built now. I'm going to go in. I'm going to send these contractors home. Don't need them for right now. Then I got to go in and, of course, do my taxiways and just connect each one of these to the path, just like I did before. Simple click and drag, like so. And then I have to open them. And again, very important, toggle general aviation. In this case, I mean, later, you don't want these little planes blocking your commercial flights. And we're going to get there, but just not yet. This is about all the general aviation I'm going to want at this airport. It's quite a bit. So we'll open that. And it looks like I forgot a taxiway here. There we go. And open that guy up. So now the question is, we got a lot of stands here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 in total. And how many can this one service truck provide? Now, we're in the middle of the night. Not a lot's going to happen because these planes don't fly at night. So what I'm going to do is skip the night. And you can do that by going to operations and fast forward to the next day. Now, you can only do this when it's nighttime. But you see that clock is absolutely flying till it gets to 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I hit 3 again to speed it back up. Now that project was fairly expensive. I'm down to $28,000, and if I go into my economy tab here, I can see that I spent quite a bit of money on this situation. If I go back to daily, yeah, the previous day $163,000 was spent. So I'm going to have to make that back, and I can do that, right? I've got a lot more of these landing zones now. Look at all the airplanes coming in and going out. So every time a plane lands, I'm making money. Every time a plane takes off, I'm making money. $600 a pop. Wham, $600. $600. That, and that's how I'm going to make my money. Now, fuel-wise, let's see how this truck keeps up. That's my main concern. Okay, my fuel truck's keeping up fairly well, but you can see that I have all these open spots, and I only have about 5 planes on the ground. And I think that has a lot to do with this. the satisfaction is pretty low, and I've got a pretty good idea of why that is. I'm overcharging them, so if I come into my fees, we got to look at things like the landing fee is pretty expensive, $600, okay? But the parking is also pretty expensive. The fuel I'm making money on, the landing I'm making money on. I don't need to make as much on these parking fees. So I'm going to take this down till it goes green, and I'm going to see if that helps the satisfaction at all for this general aviation. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and do the medium as well, just in case. But my landing fee is good, and the passenger handling, that doesn't even come into effect yet. So we'll see if that makes this satisfaction come up at all, or if it's the landing and the fuel that's just, you know, really pissing these guys off. Now you can see I have a lot less money down here, and that's because the fuel truck just came back and gave me a bunch of gas. And every time that happens, I'm going to spend a lot of money. At the same time, my runway is already down to 58%. It's going to cost $2,500 to update that, so we'll just go ahead and do that. Now, I could always upgrade this runway as well. And if I click that, you can see I can extend the runway, or I can upgrade to asphalt. Now, I don't have enough money to do that to asphalt or concrete yet. I'll probably go straight to concrete, to be honest with you. But we got to get to $60,000 before that happens. So I've got to get these planes more satisfied. At this point, my satisfaction is still pretty low, but I'm going to give it a little bit more time before I make any radical changes to my pricing structure as of right now. Okay, so parking fees didn't do anything for me. I didn't really think they would, but it was worth a shot. So let's try this. Let's go into my fees again, and I'm going to say, okay, fuel's still expensive. Got it. But let's drop this landing price down to $500. $100 off. Let's see if that makes any kind of difference in the satisfaction, and we'll see if it makes more than 5 planes at a time land, because I'm averaging about 5 planes on the ground. I'd like to see that higher, you know, toward 10. I'd like to double that. So we'll play with these prices, and we'll see if we can't get that planes on the ground number to increase. So in an effort to get more planes on the ground, I did this. I went in and I changed all of my prices down back to green, hoping to get something out of it. But to be honest with you, it has not changed their satisfaction whatsoever, and I'm not getting more planes on the ground. So I'll have to figure that out. But at this point, it's not a pricing issue. So why make less money, right? So I'll go back in here, and I'm going to take these fees right back up to where they were before and just max them out. Because if I'm not going to get satisfaction for cheaper prices, and you're going to pay the most that I possibly can to make the most profit, because I want to earn some money so I can start building up this this airport here. So we get all these prices back up. It's not going to hurt their satisfaction whatsoever. So here we go. And we'll start going from there. I've got about $57,000. Time to update the repair this runway before it's too late. But I'll come back in when I get about 60. I'd like to update that to a better runway. See what that does for me. Still haven't made a whole lot of cash, and that's why I wasn't paying attention. So one of the cool things about this game is when you hire the right people, things get done automatically for you. I can't remember which staff person it is. So we go to the executive committee. Auto repair structure. That's going to be a COO, Chief Operations Officer. So that's the next person we're going to hire. So let's go into our staff and applicants, and let's look for a COO. So here we go. We got a couple of applicants here, Aleska and Ariana. And it looks like Aleska is more qualified, but she wants a lot more money as well. But her skill level is pretty high. Man, I need those skills. Let's see, technical skill and logic. So her logic is really high, but her technical skill is not that bad. I think Ariana will be just fine. Higher. So now we have dual people paying more money, but at the same time, this runway will now automatically get upgraded when it gets down to a certain level. And also, we're at 80,000 almost, so it's time to upgrade this runway. So let's go ahead and do that. we'll upgrade it to concrete, right? And there we go. We have a nice concrete runway. Should last longer. That's the idea anyway. I know it's kind of overkill for these little planes, but it doesn't hurt anything to have a nice runway. You can see it's snowing as well. Middle of the night and snowing. Now, when you get these different staff members, sometimes different things open for you as well. So let's go to our operations. Economy. We'll go to procurement. And has anything else opened up? Doesn't appear to have opened up yet. I will go ahead and get this damn spam filter. I'm making enough money. That way I don't have to get spam. I don't have the requirements. Okay, what is that? What do I need? Tired, blah, blah, blah. Requirement CIO. Let's see what the CIO does. That's information officer, right? Chief Information Officer. Want more information on what your passengers are up to? CIO can help you unlock various tracking gadgets in the procurement panel. HR Director. Staff. Help you decrease staff salaries. Paying too much in staff salaries? Oh, God. Need to procure or unlock new assets for your airport. So this is a good one. Procurement Director. And Strategy Director knows everything on how to transform your dull terminal to a shopping and gourmet heaven. So that's what you do to open up businesses. I'm far, far away from doing that at this point. So Procurement Director is kind of my next step. So let's see what is available. And the cool thing is you're not kind of stuck with these people. You'll get different people applying for jobs. So we'll go to the next page. Procurement, here we go. So we have 2 applicants, Li Jing and Marina. $28, $28. Marina looks a lot better as far as logic and everything is concerned. I just don't know that what these actually do for these positions. I mean, I get it for security guards and things like that and maintenance staff, but I don't know about these. But anyway, so I'll go ahead and hire her as well. So now I can go to my economy, procurement, and things are now opened for me. Night flights is a good one. So tired of having to restrict your flight planning to daytime only? By submitting a small bureaucratic fee, the Flight Regulation Agency will lift their ban on night flights and enable you to schedule flights overnight. Now, here's the deal. I don't think that this does anything for general aviation. I really don't. But it is nice to have. But I don't know that that's going to help my general aviation. I think they stay overnight anyway. So I'm not going to do that. Yeah, and we don't need any of these other things right now. So, you know, back to making some money. And we're about to 6 planes on the ground at night. That's not terrible. Make sure we're at the fast speed, which we are. So we're making money, and I did go back to the normal, you know, if you go to your economy, I did go back to the higher fees, and it doesn't seem to be affecting the amount of general aviation I'm getting. Now we have this data panel, CIO required for this panel. And so I didn't hire a CIO yet, but we certainly can, because I want to start getting some data. So let's go back to the staff. You know, I might as well just fill all these positions and then make a little office for these people. You know, HR though. Ugh, God, if I don't have to have an HR person, why would I? Am I right? Okay, so CIO, got a couple applicants here. Carol and Caroline, it looks like. 88 and 116. Now, oh, look at these. Her technical skill is not as high as hers, and she's cheaper. Again, I just don't know what these play. So, you know, when in doubt, go with the cheaper. So, boom, gotcha. And now we can see our staff here. We're almost full, except for a strategy director and an HR director. I'm not really interested in taking salaries down at this point. I guess I could do these people, but nah. I want people to make a living, man. You know, charge the passengers for our services, but I'm not trying to screw people out of their hard-earned living. What am I, an HR director?